One more area which I feel that India should concentrate on is developing its own mutual fund industry. If you look at it, the US has got $1 trillion industry. The US has got $1 trillion industry in mutual funds. They have sovereign funds. They are willing to, because their currency is powerful, they are able to use the currency as a level of, operating all over the world. Even the currency and the dollar had been used as a weapon against countries to come to line with the thinking of what the US wanted, sanctioning, using that finance as a weapon. It is not nice, but that is the strength of the dollar. It has been able to keep its head above the water in spite of all the crisis over the period of years, and it's able to use that as a, as a, what do you call it, AK-47. It has blocked $300 billion worth of funds available in its banks against the, Russia. It sanctioned India. They said, if you buy Russian oil, we'll sanction you. They started putting what you call tariffs on Indian products. All these make us understand that now finance is a weapon. It is not only an accounting or trading matter. Finance and funds are weaponized. And today, if you look at it, after the first few attacks by Iran on the Middle East, like UAE, Qatar, and other places, their economy started, slightly, they started staggering. That goes to show the amount by which finance and money have become weapons for the world. For example, because somebody put up a report saying that Indian, the Indians are having a problem with Islam or with Christianity, a particular fund from the West withdrew its investments in India. That is weaponization. If you do not comply with what I want, with my type of thinking, with what I want to, with my requirements, I will stop funding you. That is a threat. Finance cannot be used as a threat. Finance is business. You invest, you want to make money, you make the money, you make the make the capital gains on that and keep moving. But you can't use it as a weapon to threaten operations. You cannot threaten companies, threaten countries with it. And that is what finance has become now. And hence, India now repents that everybody is complaining. FPIs, foreign investments are moving out in great numbers. Why is it moving out? Because the markets available outside are giving more interest, and so we are moving our funds there. But India is not able to deliver its goods so much. But I'm confident that those monies are what hot money. It is a 2008 concept. And I'm sure those FIIs will be regretting after a couple of years why they went and invested in those places and why they moved the monies out of India. Because on a long, they are investment bankers, they require the money short term, they have to show returns, they have to return the monies, they have to declare dividends. So many matters which come into being. But they will be regretting within a couple of years why they moved the money out of India. Well, that is why, and that is also a kind of a threat against India. It could be because they could have been threatened. If you do not threaten India by moving the funds out of India and depleting the currency and the strength of the Indian rupee, action will be taken against you. It could have happened. I'm not saying that it has happened. It could have happened. Why things are moving so fast out of India? All these years, India was found to be a strong place for investment. Why all of a sudden all the money is being pulled out? Well, we have to understand that now finance has become, money and finance have become a possible weapon, like an AK-47. And therefore, what should India do? India should see that it develop its own marketing, its more, I would say, its investment bankers. But, you know, one doubt which comes to my mind, our investment bankers are not trained sufficiently. Well, are they not trained sufficiently? I think they are sufficient. They have stronger capabilities. They still fall within the lines of the law. They do not transgress the law to make a short term commitment and make more money. There are a lot of good investment bankers in India. It should not be that the investment banker can be coming only from McKinsey and Company, for in another from a big consultancy company in the world, or you can have it only from a Ivy League university from the US or Britain or from Europe. It is not necessary. They have one way of thinking only because they've been trained to think like that. But again, I bring in Indian jugaad. Indians have a different perspective. They have different objective and they have different capabilities. They have different moralities. They have so many, the differences are huge. It is not necessary that we should follow the same lines in which other mutual funds or I would say investment banks are followed. There's a lot of capabilities in India. And I'm sure what we should do is that a special kind of legal framework should be developed, not this current mutual fund concept or the current investment banking concept. It should be more powerful. It should help India in mobilizing resources, mobilizing the extra funds available with the people. So it helps in the mobilization of the Indian funds and which can be deployed within India to help and assist development of new products, new industries, and development of even newer states. It can be risky. Well, that risk has to be undertaken also. There is a possibility of a great risk. But it's not immediately, we should not run to the government and say, underwrite it. And there should be what you call it, a sterling guarantee by the government that if there are any losses, immediately we'll refund. No. That is where India should develop newer talents. And that talent should be able to understand the risk factors far better. With AI in operation and with the technology and the software currently available, and also the newer concepts and knowledge which our Indian investment, our what you call financial people are, what you call it, are strengthened with or supported with. There is a possibility that we can use all this to improve the risk factor and mobilize these funds which can be deployed in various areas. And that is how the West grew. It was able to mobilize its resources. And the government cannot keep on mobilizing resources and immediately because there is a possibility of bureaucratic interference. And therefore, we should be able to create a new, what I could say, Indian jugaad, investment set of bankers who will be able to understand the Indian uh, public because they are also Indian. The psyche will be common and they will be able to understand the fundamentals. They will be able to understand the extent which they will be able to, what you could take risks. There's a possibility. I think the government should work with the private sector and the banks which has got enough talent within themselves should be able to concentrate on identifying people with specialized kind of talents so that India has its own, what I would say, sovereign funds over a period of time so that we will be able to use our Indian funds to mobilize and service our country. Thank you.